Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see how to develop a web app using Google Apps Script, which help us to upload files from the internet to your Google Drive. So this is a demo, and I'm going to first show you a demo. Then we are going to start building the web app from the scratch. So if you see here, it contain a header and it contain a label called enter the URL and contain a text box. And in this text box, you have to give the URL which contain a file, and you want that file to be uploaded to your Google Drive. So when you're providing the URL, you have to ensure that that URL contain a file, and the type of file can be anything. It can be a PDF, or it can be a doc, or it can be a text, or PPT, or whatever the file, but you have to ensure that it should not return an HTML, rather it should return a file. So if I copy this URL and go over to new tab and click on that, here you can see it gives me a PDF file. So this is the one that you need to ensure before putting the URL here. So we are now 100% sure that this contains sample PDF, and I want this PDF to be directly saved on my Google Drive inside the folder upload files. So to do that, I'm going to click the upload files button, and it will take a couple of seconds. And here you see the sample.pdf is uploaded, and the timestamp is 9.58, which is just a few seconds before the file is uploaded to my drive directly from this path. And also you can see the file path here. So if you go over here, it will take you to this file path. Let me show you. So this URL gives us an access to the PDF directly from my Google Drive. So after clicking on the upload file, this will be shown up. So let's see how to create a web app like this now. So now go to your drive and click on new, and to create a web app, we should not open Google Sheet or Docs. Rather, we need to open a new Google Apps Script. Let's name this project as upload files from URL and click on OK. So here we need two things. One is your Google Apps Script, another one is an HTML, and whatever which you are seeing in the demo is a HTML which rendered on the browser. So we need an HTML. Let's create a new HTML. Go to file, new, and select the HTML file. Let's name this as index, and it will automatically append the .html to it. So now this HTML should contain a title. Let's create a title. And the title is, let's name this as upload files. And inside the body, it should contain the header, heading h1, and a form tag. So let me create a heading h1, and I'm going to name this as upload files to Google Drive from URL. So this is my h1 tag, and I'm going to create a form tag, and inside the form tag all my inputs like text box, label, and a submit button is going to present inside the form tag. So here we have created a form tag. Let me create a label, and this label states like enter the URL. And now let's create a text box. So I will use an input tag, and type is text, and let's name this as my file, and let's give ID as URL. I want this text box width to be a larger, and the height should be much smaller so that we can accommodate the long URL inside the text box. We can literally see the given URL in the text box. So let's give the style, and inside the style I'm going to specify the height as 5% and width as 70%. So now we have created a text box and label. Let's give a break, 2 lines of break, and after that I'm going to create a submit button. Let me create an input tag, and the type is button. Let's give the ID as submit button, and the value is upload files. So it will create a button contain the value upload files, and the ID of the button is going to be submit button. So after we click on the upload files, we want the user to see the Google Drive path. So to show the Google Drive path, I'm going to use a label, and ID of the label is, let's name this as resp. That's it. So now I'm not going to enter anything in the label, because once the file is successfully uploaded, I'm going to use a JavaScript to inject the file URL in this label using this ID resp. So far we are good. And after the form tag, I want the script to be inserted over here. So in the HTML, we are not supposed to use Google Apps Script. Even if you use a Google Apps Script, it won't work. So we have to use a pure JavaScript. Let me create a script tag, and in this script tag I'm going to uh, call a function. We can say a JavaScript function when the user click on upload file. So use document dot get element by ID of submit button. So whenever an user click on this submit button, this script is going to trigger if I use an event listener to it, and the listener is click here, and when somebody click, it's going to execute a function, and so it basically contain an event. This function contain event as an argument. And now I'm going to fetch the URL which is entered inside the text box by the user. Let me so I have created a variable URL, and let's use a get element by ID of this URL, and let's use value so that whatever the text which was entered by the user will get stored in this variable URL. So now in the index.html we can use a special Google Apps Script function. That is the one function we can use inside the Google Apps Script. Other than that, we cannot use any other Google Apps Script function. So this is google.script.run, and so this is going to run on the client side and send an information from the client side to the server side. This code.js that we are going to write in few moments. So this google.script.run accept two things. One is a success and another one is a failure, but here we are going to focus only on success. So let's use the method success handler, and this is a callback function with success handler on success. It's going to execute once this function upload files is executed successfully. So it might be a bit confusing. So just assume that google.script.run is a server-side Google Apps script, and this is going to execute the upload files function, which we are going to create on this code.js, which we haven't done yet, but we are going to create right now. And this will trigger once this upload file function is completed. It will return something, and this with success handler is then going to trigger after the upload file is completed. Just assume this as a callback function for this upload files method. So that's it. We have created the event listener for this, and we have to close this one, and we have to create one more function. This is a callback function which is going to execute after the file is successfully uploaded. So using this function, we are going to fetch the URL of the file uploaded. URL in the sense it's going to fetch the Google Drive URL where the file is uploaded. So let's name this as document.get element by ID, and I want to populate the URL in the label resp. So I'm going to use that ID, and I'm going to use a function inner HTML to assign the URL file uploaded to path URL. So on success, as I said, it will get executed once this upload files is done. So once the upload file is completed, we need to write a Google Apps script that return the Google Drive URL, and that URL will be passed to this on success, and it will be shown on the HTML side. So far we are done with client side, and we are yet to begin the server side. So on the server side, we need one function, that is upload files, and this function should return the Google Drive path for the uploaded file. Simple. So let's go to code.js. Before that, let me copy the upload file and go to upload files and go to code.js and change it to upload files. And here I'm going to use a variable response, and to fetch the information we are going to use URL fetch app class dot fetch, and you need to fetch the URL. So you can get the URL from this function because we are going to pass the URL from the text box to this function, and this function is going to return the URL to our Google Apps Script function. So I can use that URL to retrieve the file information using the URL fetch app class. So I want to retrieve the file name from the given URL. So how to do that? So we need to use a regex, and this is the regex which is going to return the file name in the URL. For example, if the URL is this, using this method we can retrieve the file name sample.pdf. So I'm not going to dive deep into regex portion right now in this video because it is beyond the scope of this video. So just assume that we are going to give the entire URL, and this file name is just going to return the string of the file name. So that's it. Let's use this one, and you have to pass the URL. So it will return the file name instead. And you have to create, or you have to specify on which folder this file should be uploaded. Let's create a variable folder for that, and we can use a class drive app dot get folder by ID. And if you create any folder, this is the folder ID. Whatever which comes after folders is the folder ID. So I'm going to upload the files to this uploaded files folder. So I'm going to put that ID here. That's it. Now let's create a variable called blob, and blob is something which is going to get the file from the URL. To get the file, use the response dot get blob. So we're just going to return the file and we are going to store the file in the form of blob. Now it's time to upload the file. So let me create a variable file and folder dot create file. We are going to create the file on our Google Drive, and which is going to accept a blob. So we are passing this blob to this create file method. So it will get the file from the given URL and it is going to push the file to the given folder. So once this is pushed, you have to set file name here using a set name method, and the file name we have already used our regex to get the file name. So I'm going to pass the file name here, and let's add a little bit more information like description. So you have to use a method set description, and in the description just add or specify that it's downloaded from the URL. Just give the URL variable here. So in the description you can see the URL from the file is downloaded. We are done with everything, and to trigger the on success, which is this one, to show the Google Drive URL, we need to return the Google Drive URL. So it's very simple. You can use the file and use a method get URL. That's it. It's going to return the Google Drive URL of the file, which means, let's say if this is a sample.pdf, it's going to return this URL. So we are done with server side, and we are done with client side as well. Now it's time to test the app. So you need to publish the web app. Go to publish and deploy as a web app. The version is new, and execute the app as select user accessing the web app and give access to anyone if you want, or you can limit to yourself, and click on deploy. You will get a current web app URL here. Copy the URL and go to the URL to see the web app. So when you're visiting the URL for the very first time, you need to give a review permission. So click on the review permission and select your Gmail ID and click on the advanced and verify the app. So give the permission access. That's it. Now authorization is successful. So here you can see the script function Doget is not found. So when you are creating a web app, you must specify the Doget function, because Doget is responsible for rendering your HTML on the client side or on your browser, we can say. So let me go ahead and create a function Doget, and it's going to get an event, and we need to return the HTML. So let me create a variable called HTML, and we need to use a class HTML service dot create HTML output from file. So this is a method which we are going to use because we have an index.html here, so we can pass that index.html to this method so that it will create or render the HTML from the given file. So now it's time to return the HTML. So you cannot simply return the HTML. You have to use a method set xframe options mode if you want to embed this web app anywhere on your website or on your blog. And the mode should be HTML service dot xframe option mode dot allow all. So you are giving permission to access this HTML. So we are done, but whatever the changes you made will not be populated on the URL. So you need to publish once again. So go to publish, deploy as a web app, and select the new version and click on update. Now copy the URL, go to that URL. So now you can see the file which contain header, upload files to Google Drive from URL, and the text box, label, and upload file. Let me search for sample PDF file download, and this contain a PDF here. So go over here and click on upload file. So the PDF name is dummy.pdf. So it will take a couple of seconds to upload. If you want to track the status, you can see. So here we got a message on success is not defined. It is because of the typo. It should be on success. So let's once again publish the web app. So now copy the web app URL and go over here. And I'm going to pick this file because the maybe this one, because the file format is PDF here. It should not return any HTML page. Let's go over to our web app and put that and click on upload file. And once you click on the upload file, if you want to track the status, you can use the console window, but here you go. We got the Google Drive path as well. So which means the file is successfully uploaded. And if you go over to upload files and do a refresh, you must see a file name called PDF-sample. So here you go. So this is the file which we uploaded from our web app directly to our Google Drive. So that's it for this video. If you have any doubt, just drop your doubts in the comment section. And if you like this video, give thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.